Has anyone ever called you difficult? Maybe it was your partner during a fight, or your boss at work, or even a family member who said you're too much, or too sensitive, or too complicated. And here's the thing, you probably believed them, didn't you? You probably thought, yeah, maybe I am difficult. Maybe I am too much. Maybe I should just be easier to deal with. But what if I told you that you're not difficult at all? What if I told you that the real problem isn't you? It's that you were taught to hide who you truly are from such an early age that even you don't know who you really are anymore? What if I told you that every difficult person I've ever met was actually just someone who was punished for being authentic as a child, and now they're stuck in this exhausting cycle of trying to be someone they're not while secretly resenting everyone around them? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share might just change how you see yourself forever. Let me start with something that might sound controversial. There is no such thing as a difficult child. There are only parents who are completely disconnected from themselves and therefore cannot connect with their child's authentic nature. Think about it. A child comes into this world completely innocent, completely authentic. They cry when they're sad. They laugh when they're happy. They speak their truth without filter. They are pure, unconditioned life force. But what happens? From day one, we start conditioning them. Don't cry. Be a good boy. Nice girls don't get angry. Stop being so sensitive. You're being dramatic. Calm down. Behave. Here's what's really happening. The child isn't connected to the living presence of the parent. They're connected to the image the parent has of themselves and all the expectations that come with it. From an early age, the child learns that their authentic self is not acceptable. They learn that to receive love, approval, and safety, they must perform. They must be good. They must fit into the box their parents have created for them. So the child starts to split. Part of them goes underground, the real, authentic, wild part. And part of them creates this false self, this performer, this people pleaser who knows exactly how to get approval. Fast forward 20, 30, 40 years. That child is now an adult, and they're struggling in relationships. Why? Because they've been wearing a mask for so long. They don't even know who they are underneath it. But here's the thing about masks. They're exhausting to maintain. And every now and then, the real you breaks through. You get angry. You set a boundary. You say no. You express a need that doesn't align with your people-pleasing persona. And what happens? People call you difficult because they're used to the mask. They're comfortable with the false you. The real you threatens them because it reminds them of their own authenticity that they've buried. So you find yourself in this impossible situation. If you wear the mask, you feel disconnected, resentful, and like you're dying inside. If you drop the mask, people call you difficult, selfish, or too much. You start to believe that there's something wrong with you. You start to think that maybe you are too much. Maybe you should just be easier to deal with. Maybe you should just go back to performing. But here's what nobody tells you. The problem isn't that you're difficult. The problem is that you're surrounded by people who are as disconnected from their authentic selves as you are. You want to know what's really difficult? It's not being authentic. What's really difficult is living honestly, fearlessly, and with presence. What's really difficult is walking your path completely undistracted, whether the world offers you applause or turns its back in judgment. As Osho said, to be a parent is a great art. To give birth to children is nothing. Any animal can do it. But to be a parent is something extraordinary. Very few people are really capable of being parents. Why? Because very few people are brave enough to be themselves, to connect with their true self and express it freely. Here's how the cycle perpetuates itself. Parents who are disconnected from themselves raise children who become disconnected from themselves. Those children grow up and have their own children, and the cycle continues. Each generation passes down their wounds, their masks, their fears. Each generation teaches their children that authenticity is dangerous, that being yourself is selfish, that love is conditional on performance. But here's the beautiful thing. You can break this cycle. You can stop carrying your parents' wounds. You can stop performing for approval. You can stop calling yourself difficult and start calling yourself authentic. The first step is recognizing that your difficult nature is actually your soul trying to break free from years of conditioning. Every time you feel frustrated, every time you feel like you're too much, every time you feel misunderstood, that's your authentic self crying out for expression. Here's the remedy, and it's simpler than you think, but it's not easy. You have to start telling the truth about everything, about how you feel, what you want, what you don't want, what hurts you, what makes you come alive. You have to stop performing. Stop trying to be who you think people want you to be. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Start with small things. If someone asks how you are, tell them the truth instead of saying, fine. If someone suggests something you don't want to do, say no without a long explanation. If something bothers you, speak up instead of swallowing it. Will some people call you difficult? Absolutely. Will some people not like the real you? Probably. Will some relationships end? Maybe. But here's what else will happen. You'll start attracting people who actually like the real you. You'll stop feeling exhausted from performing. You'll stop feeling resentful. You'll start feeling alive. You'll realize that the people who call you difficult are actually just uncomfortable with authenticity because they've abandoned their own. You'll start seeing that their discomfort is about them, not about you. The world doesn't need more people pleasers. The world doesn't need more masks. The world doesn't need more children growing up conditioned to conform, to please, to shrink themselves for approval. The world needs truth. Raw, unpolished, alive truth. The world needs connection, not roles, not expectations, but presence. A meeting of being with being. The world needs love. Not the love that binds, but the love that liberates. The love that holds space and says, you are safe to be who you are. Here's the irony. The very thing that makes you difficult, your refusal to completely surrender your authentic self, is actually what makes you lovable. It's what makes you real. It's what makes you human. Your parents didn't know how to love the real you because they didn't know how to love the real them. But that doesn't mean you have to carry that pattern forward. So here's your mission, should you choose to accept it. Stop apologizing for being yourself. Stop calling yourself difficult. Stop trying to be easier for people who can't handle your authenticity. Start seeing your difficult nature as a gift. Start seeing your sensitivity as a superpower. Start seeing your need for authenticity as a sign of spiritual health, not dysfunction.